All right, Grand Rising, everyone is Shay Seeking. Excuse me. And I ran into this. I'm laying here. It's like 5 o'clock in the morning, right? So I ran into this. The storm has arrived. Oh, Chief Oren Lyons. Okay. So, I'm trying to figure out where did I read that it was a name like that in the Bible when it came to Benjamin. Okay. Well. Okay. Okay. It was just something I ran into when I was doing some research on some genealogy and stuff. That name is just really okay. But anyways, all right, y'all. So I just wanted to listen to this. So I only listened like 2 minutes of it or whatever. So again, we're just going to. Dang, I was supposed to play it because I don't want like to get no copyright strike or nothing. So hold on 1 second. Well, I mean it's only 6 minutes, so I guess it shouldn't be a problem. I mean, if there is a problem, then I'll just have to take it down. So let's just listen.
Some years back, we were elders sitting at a campfire in Lakota country. Leaders were sitting there. Bulls Crow, Matthew King, kills enemy. I can go on. I was a youngster then, younger. All those leaders worried about you, worried about the seventh generation. And Louis Badwoon, I don't know if anybody here remembers Louis, but if you've ever met him, you'll never forget him. Louis says, God damn it, he says, what the hell are we just hanging around here for? We should be doing something about this. He says, look at us. He says, look at the power we have. Put our medicine together, he says, and bring the rain and flood them out. He says, put our medicine together, he says, bring the fire, he says, burn them. Bring the wind, our grandfathers. We can do it. The leaders sit there quiet. They said, geez, Louis, we better think about that one. Well, he says, God damn it. They'll never listen until they have to suffer. Well, we didn't do that. We didn't have to. Our brother brought it himself. It's here now. The fire he's talking about is here. It's burning right now. The wind he's talking about is just beginning. The water, you want more, you're going to get it. And those that need it won't get it. No, these are the prophecies. These are what we heard. These are what we know. We've been told again and again. 200 years we've been listening to the prophecies. And the first thing you understand is, they're here. Oh, that happened already. That happened. So we are living in a time, like my grandson said, what's going to happen to me? Well, that's our job. Our job is to change people's minds. People have to change. Directions have to change. Values have to change. Otherwise, there's no mercy in nature. None. No mercy. Nature has none. Has only law, only rule. You don't abide the rule, you suffer the result. And it's just no habeas corpus here. It's what you do, how you live. Peacemaker said to the chiefs at the time, he said, build your nation on these principles. The first principle of peace. Peace. And with peace is health. Second principle leaders. Be fair to your people. And with that will come justice.
Okay. So I just wanted to stop there because when he said that, that really, really touched me because, it's about peace, and yeah, everybody's saying peace to a certain extent, right? It matters for someone to be in a peaceful, um hold on one second. Hold on. Hold on. Okay. So when he says peace, like just looking at it in a sense where, I can't think that it's anything but, right? Like looking back at this whole thing, right? Um, taking a certain amount of the blame, but also knowing this story, and also being able to, yes, point the finger at, again, other forces and energies because I noticed that during this attack, right, this terrorist attack on my dome, I don't know about anybody else's, right? So when it comes to this terrorist attack, this insurrection of the Capitol, which is actual the spiritual portion of what you saw on that building on January 6th or whenever it was, right? Around that time is when, again, the peace was taken away from me in my household, right? That's when the peace was taken away from me in my household. So again, when it comes to nation building, if someone has their peace removed, right, from an outside force or energy or, again, sorcery. Now, the sorcery portion I feel comes from my own community, right? My own community having some kind of way. Also, because of, again, certain industries, I feel having an issue with, again, the 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 nothing, right? Which is keyword for the thing that's going around supposedly, right? Along with the collapse that went along with it in the fall of so-called Babylon. I feel like that brought a hateful energy, but it was just prophecy. It was something that was going to happen. It was something that was said to happen. I didn't choose to be the one to break this up. I didn't choose to be the one to bring you out of Egypt, with the sense of sharing the information that we've shared on this channel over time to open up people's eyes as to, yes, you can be Indian, you can be Native, you can be whatever you want. But it wasn't until you figured out you had to dig up out of that grave, right? So again, even if you did get the land, right, back, it wasn't nothing until you got up out of the soil. I feel a way about it because it was never about me. It was always about getting that particular information out so people can see that we were still in so-called slavery. Even if I had to sit in it still and test it out on my own, because I knew a majority, the main majority of our people were still going to be, again, in that status. But rightfully so, you have those that rather they gain uh, momentum, after or whatnot, that added more things onto that to be able to, I guess, strive and survive. And that's what the whole point is, right? hmm But by the time, and I can't even say that I realized, right? Because I also still always had some type of reserve, right? About it's not gonna is at the end it's not gonna matter anyway, only because of the outside forces and things that are gonna come along with that as well, right? But it will matter again to some. And like I said, sometimes it feels as though I already kind of like psychologically know what part I play, right? But I try to again look at it in a positive light, as to say that this is not going to end that particular way. I'm going to show people that at the end of this, it's it's not going to end that way for me, right? By handling it or going protocol. It's always been that I'm waiting for something. I'm waiting for source. Not even a savior, right? But in a sense, a guide, a sign, something else, right? And then again, at some point in time, like I told you guys, I noticed that isolation going on. And then I started to feel the spiritual attacks. And then my eye was open to a certain extent, a little bit more than it had been when we were doing videos before and going through that information. It was opened up to be aware of things that were going on around me, tapping into nature. It's just all of these things I feel like it has been sharpening the sword throughout this time. But I noticed one thing. And then today, really looking at the fact of, again, seeing that women in our so called communities have been in a jealous, envious state towards me, that brothers, right, would be around me and just for, again, my vision or my energy, right, and not even care to, like I said, involve me or sit at the table to be a part of isolating and creating that island. To see that higher authorities and governments and countries, what I can say I see, it does not matter what anyone else thinks. I know that this is what it is. And it was an attack. And unless you've gone through this particular type of attack, you will never know what it's like. Even those of my soul siblings, again, that are, I call them soul siblings because, again, we're somewhat different, right? I think they know what aspect it is to actually be on the move, right? They know that part. They know that part about being on the move and having to, hustle or do whatever they have to do on that level. There's people, like I said, when it comes to this thing that had to know what it takes or what tasks and skills or whatever it took for whatever they've been doing when it comes to paperwork, right? It took a lot of energy for me to be that vassal, right? That people are tapping into and coming to for that, whatever it is that I had to go ahead and get out of the mud and bring it to the surface for them to be able to see, right? And without that vision, from that perception, like I said, I don't think it would have ever been brought forth. So to take away somebody's peace and throw arrows at their back and expose their personal life, right? And let other people in on their energy. And then to seem as though, again, someone cares. And at the same time, run off with the same uh, uh, females that will call me toxic and talk bad about me. And they will run off with those same toxic females and allow them to, again, do these type of things to someone that they spent so much time around, so much time and energy, like I said, around. The shit hurt. But at the same time, I just can't, I done been through so much throughout this journey. I can't get upset like that, and I cannot cry. But I'm just going through this as a thorough uh kind of look. It's not like I even have to do this, I guess, because again, I guess I was the butt of the joke. I'm the one that didn't realize what was really going on behind the scenes when I thought that people were there to help me or show me some kind of way, and it wasn't reciprocated. It was just to take, 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 and to disturb my peace and tear me apart and tear my family apart and these particular things. And it's so sad, like I said, when you look and it's your own people. And then when you have to expose something, not even really doing it on purpose, you just, again, this gift has been given to me, and I've been given these eyes to see, right? So again, although some of my soul siblings have expanded on certain things, obviously it's not these things, because again, it seems that people are upset when I bring these particular things up. But it's okay for everyone, again, to gang up and then attack me. But when I have something to say, it's a problem. I shouldn't get mad. I shouldn't get upset. I shouldn't be bothered. I should do work and on myself. And again, the funny thing is, I've probably gone through more of that spiritual cleansing and bathing and searching and things than anyone had to. And I was dragged through it, kicking and screaming. Right? And so this story repeats itself. Everybody feels like they have what they needed, right? And so again, everything will be fine. And I just feel so bad for anybody that thinks that. It's a difference when we're, talking around about, you know, divine masculine, feminine energies and stuff like that when it comes to tarot. But I told you guys, like I said, when I brought up that, then people get upset. It's bigger than that. Is anybody using tarot to, again, look at any other things that we need to know? Or is just this it? You know what I'm saying? To see how we should be operating in this time. Are we still in that sense where we're partying and doing these things that they were still doing when the takeover was happening? Because I'll tell you one thing, with what is being perceived that's coming in through that border is the unknown. If there is the nothing going on, we should not be allowing anybody in these borders whatsoever. There should never have been, there should not be no people coming across these borders if there is a pandemic going on right now. I'm going to just see if we can make that make sense, first of all. But we got the borders bursting at the south, and we have the borders bursting at the north. They say Afghan, but we're talking about the people that are coming into this country from other places right now. All I'm pointing out is the fact. I'm not saying nobody should help anyone, but what I'm saying is a fact that they should not be letting people be dispersed into just going anywhere into the land. There should be ports like, they had for you, right? When it first came out, those type of ports that they had, those barges that they had people on. And now I'm not saying they should treat them like that, but I'm saying there should be some kind of vetting or some kind of protocol, like I said. It's almost like it got to be fake or this is just ridiculous, right? Okay. And if there is this going on, why isn't the military set up like as if this was some kind of like Hurricane Katrina or something? That where are these camps and stuff? They supposedly have these concentration camps or these military camps or whatnot. Where are these people going? you know? Now, I'm not saying that they should put them in a camp, but I'm saying these should be probably places where they should be vetting the people to see what's going to go on next. So that's in a more peaceful, like just even speaking of peace, that's peaceful, where people know that this is something that is safe. Because if this killer is going around, like they're saying, with the numbers that are happening, then again, that should be taken into account. So I feel like, you know, what are we talking about? Real stuff, right? It's a point where you know, um, it does turn into a sense of gossip. But then to find out again, and then found myself pulled into it, at least for the past month or so, because I felt like, information was there that I was not being given or having access to, in any other form or fashion. But then to come to find out that again, some of these same women were plants, and they had been using, definitely had to be using something, some kind of sorcery. And to find out that again, certain divine masculine energies, right, possibly brought them in. And that's fine. But not realizing that thousands of these women now, again, if they're bringing them in and for some way, right, however it was happening, some type of information being exposed brings negative energy. So not only whatever other oppressive acts were going on, we're still talking about, right? We're still talking about um, women that have some kind of way or thought about me, them, our position, their position, where they felt as though they had to send this type of negative energy my way. And I'm just looking at it like today I was just thinking like, ugh, that is just so sickening. You know what I'm saying? It's just sickening, you know. And you have certain communities that are sitting back and just like so ecstatic about it. Because again, they feel like even whatever information I was bringing forth, I feel was some kind of like malicious way, of attacking when I've never attacked. I brought attention to certain things, right? So I'm just looking at all this stuff and it's just bringing me back to biblical energy. And then, it's also like showing me this here. And so, like I said, if it can happen to me, it can happen to anybody. And if we don't realize what is happening, then again, like I feel as though, oh, I don't know. Sometimes I think this is all like a sham, dude, with, people in governing forces on vacation right now or whatever, or taking a leave at this particular moment when all these people are coming in. They're showing signs of our president sitting there lonely at a table in front of a screen. And they right next to it, they're showing these pictures of these people, at the airport. So again, regardless if it's happening that way or not, regardless if it's just the perception, that's really all you need is the perception of something in order to get an outcome. That's all you need is a perception that this person is a bad person to get a negative outcome. And it's not even just about me, right? It's not even just about me. It's about why is somebody working so hard to get rid of me? And then what happens when you do? See, what happens when you do? And the squeeze is coming in from the south and the squeeze is coming in from the north. Hmm. And those of us that are trying to ring the alarm are not able to speak, or we're not speaking anymore. It's just strange activity to me. But it's not surprising because, again, historically, this is how it goes. This is how it goes. So I feel Source built me up, like I said, with this, like, regardless if things seem shaky, with this, like, strong as a bull kind of like mentality to be able to, like, go through these things. And I know we're all going through things, you know. But again, if it's one thing I keep thinking, it keep running through the love thy neighbor, right? Because it's just all just means unity. I mean, like we used to say on the channel, unity is key. Knowledge is power, unity is key. But again, like in my case, it doesn't matter how many times I, you know what I'm saying, engage or whatnot. You know, it just, nobody wants to listen. So I'm just like at a point where I'm just like, I don't know. You know, so again, just even looking at this prophecy, like, you know, we know the things that we know, we're going in tune with the things that we know. But, you know, and then there's some, you know, origines and, you know, those who identify as native, and there's some of every group of people that know about these particular prophecies. But I haven't seen this one swarming around, so that's why I wanted to share it. But I just said, I'm just thinking, yes, when you take away somebody's peace, you take away their footing to a certain extent. And now I see why I've been in my head so much, why I've been shielding my heart so much, where we get that hole in the chest when it comes to the ancient um, uh, images that we see of different cultures and goddesses. Now I see again exactly what the blindfold has to do with, and it wasn't always the people that came in. It was sometimes the people that were there. And for me, that is like so sick and sad.
Principle of peace. Peace. And with peace is health. Second principle, justice. You leaders, be fair to your people. And with that will come justice.
And I think that that's the key right there. That's the key. With the leaders being fair to their people. Again, that's reminding me of loving thy neighbor in a sense, right? Be fair to your people. And when I think about this journey, and I think about that, and I think about even just whatever's going to happen is going to happen. And if we can't even get it right on that level to be fair or right, at least to the people, how do you know what I'm saying? I guess you can be unfair to certain people, but then and still nation build, right? And be fair. But it's, you know, with that mindset to actually go purposely to do certain things to one individual, to, you know, it's almost like just like those old mythological storylines of, you know, gods and goddesses going against one god or goddess because she's beautiful, or because they were wealthy, or they were the strongest, or whatever. You know, it's always an overthrow somewhere, right? There's always some crown or some throne being misused, mishandled, or whatnot, right? So again, the reason why I do these videos and I talk a lot, because, you know, maybe people riding to work or whatever and listening, but I don't know. Sometimes I just wondering, are we even really, you know, maybe somebody doesn't have time. That's why I started the channel in the first place. Maybe somebody doesn't have time to do all this digging and micromanaging, looking at these words and stuff like that. Let me go ahead and just do this. You know, let me dedicate my free time to this. It turned into a lifestyle. You know, and then when I wanted to focus on other aspects of it, just to do it, you know, that's when, like I said, that um, energy came in. And I think that that's when I, like I said, extended my hand out. But then I noticed that there was just blockage there. It was already to a point where people, for some reason, just, you know, it was like an isolation thing. It was like, okay, I'm like, okay, you didn't get the memo. So, you know, but still, I'm just appreciative, I guess, to whatever ancestors, guides um, and source and myself, shit, for at a time when it feels like people should be panicking and going crazy. That again, revisiting some old soul siblings, um, be cracking me up or whatever. Um, Talking about like just grounding yourself, being stable and structured and things like that. So, so yeah, and that's what I'm saying. Like, I don't see how I for one, no matter what's going on, could never sit there and talk about charity and talk about all these things and sit there and watch one person suffer at anything alone and not throw one crumb. I don't care if I hate the person's guts. I could never do that. I could never ever do that. I could never ever, knowing that somebody is looking to me, right? Somebody changed the way they look at me and they're looking at me, and they need just a little something. I could never look at anybody and just say, and then have the nerve to also come around them and possibly need something from them. Be a spiritual or some type of healer to them. And then at the end of the day, right? And I know that there's a cutoff point with, like I said, I felt like at some time in this journey that it's like, you know, people were maybe getting tired, but it's just like, you know, even when it comes to source, I'm like, what is the damn specifics? Like today, I was like, what do you want? Like, what are you doing? Um, and it's just like that. And then sometimes I'm thinking like, well, damn, those things, okay, well, okay, that'd be cool or whatever. But I don't know. Like I said, it just sometimes feels like it's just, you know, like how you already see like uh, your fate in a situation. And it's like a preparedness, and there's like a silent place in your mind that you go, you know what I'm saying, when you see this, right? And I think it has something to do with, again, me knowing who I am. Nobody wants me to stand in that energy. Nobody wants anybody to stand in the energy of knowing thyself. But I think it's just something different when it comes to me and maybe others, a couple of others. And especially me, because I do feel like out of the group, right, that I possibly may be the one that is like just being able to wake up. I wouldn't even say baby energy, right? But I would just say um that's waking up from the slumber or whatever it was, right? Um and I think that I know for a fact that a portion of that slumber had something to do, like I said, with, I said, a spiritual attack. Something that was out of my hands. Something, again, I will never blame myself for something that was done to me. I always self criticize and critique myself, to change things or look at things, or, the way I'm doing things a little bit different. But I'll never take the blame for something that I know somebody else did to me. Why should I hold that? No, you hold that. You hold on to that. So again, if people can start nations on shaky foundations, it doesn't matter what color the people are, it's all going to fall. So it's this almost a sense of like, like it's like this now or never energy, and it's also like, don't even trip. It's about to be a wrap. Like that's just the energy that I'm getting, and it's not even having to do with anything, but I don't know. And it may not even be a wrap for everyone, but like I said, for me, caring, I guess, like I did at one point, you know. So it's like even that energy of God turning his or her face on the people. Like I could say, "Oh, how could a God do that?" You know. From that aspect of religious aspect, growing up and stuff, how I used to think about it until I actually saw what the truth was. So I don't know. Let's just finish this.
Third one, power. The power of being united, the power of the good mind, power of one mind. Power. I see the Hopis bring rain, putting their minds together. That's what you're talking about. Never seen a Catholic priest bring rain yet. And I think I can safely say you never will. But we do. We bring rain. We give thanks. We work with the animals. For everybody. You're either going to change your values or you're not going to survive. I tell you, the earth has no mercy. You abide that law or suffer the consequence. Business as usual is over. We are not going to have the luxury of spending $200 billion in a war. You're just not going to have the time or the money because you're going to be paying for environment and damages coming. I said, I'll help you. I'll be right there. And that's our elders' position. When they ask for help, we better be there. Because this is it, the way I see it. The other instruction the peacemaker said was, never take hope from the people. Give the people hope. And what is hope? It's leadership. It's principle. And that means the leader's got to be out there. Fight is on. Big fight now. A lot of people in the world, really, more than you know, just waiting. And the country that's got to change is right here, this country. Number one. But when they find out and when they do change, they're going to be happy. We'll all be just bound to that happy little village somewhere. It can happen. But we're going to go through some stuff. There's no escaping that. We're going to go through some stuff. So just get ready for it. Get ready for it.
Okay. All right. So again, excuse me. Yeah. So even that part about sending rain, you know, yeah, even that part about sending rain, made me think about what type of rain, right? So, um, so yeah, so we're gonna go ahead and just because it correlates, and like I said, I'm just gonna separate it from a separate video because I know a lot of people don't like the biblical aspect, but again, you know, I was lining up some things with lineage earlier that sound very familiar to stuff that was in there, okay, especially with certain names. Um, so um, yeah, so we're going to go ahead and I'm going to read just a little bit. I think it's a really small chapter and point out a couple of things, and this just to line up things what has happened or what is to happen, and just again line it up with this prophecy, right? Because he's like he said about it's not the Catholic Church or whatever, and I agree. Um, but there's still words in this text that maybe people that are into the text, this is why I do it this way, right? Not to indoctrinate anybody or anything, but to show different variations and different ways for different groups and different people that are coming that grew up hearing the prophecy this way, but then in the biblical text is written that way, but then your ancestors, our ancestors being so-called African American all this time, are going to probably hear it a different way. So it's not to cause division, it's actually to make it collective so that everybody can come, you know what I'm saying? Everybody can kind of pick up from it in one general message, right? Okay. Um, and maybe it might resemble a story that your great grandparents might have told you. And it's very similar to this story. So again, and once you have it on three different scales or on that level, then we can see, and we're seeing it actually going on right now, then that's like double, triple, quadruple, what I'm saying, confirmation as to what is to come, you know. And I know we focus on the things like the antidote and the nothing and stuff like that, but there's something more, and I feel like again a large group of people already know this, a large group of people already tapped in or tuned into it, but I do think, like again, like I said, there's some binding things that are happening where I can see on a certain level, but then there's other things that I can't sense again because again, I think it's just like with the whole isolated energy, and then after that it takes some time to even try and trust people again. So I think that that's another thing that was done, why that type of work was done to harden. So then even I get that ice queen energy, or the ice princess even that we talked about over the winter, when we were stuck over here in all that damn snow. And when I was going through like the heightened part of, again, this part of the awakening where I was able to see and sense things around me, and that like uh I don't know, that seeing or scrying or psychic kind of like ability, I don't know, or just that sensing and hearing, just that deeper connection, I guess, with source even, and with the ancestors, just knowing that somebody else was here. I think that that's where that it opened. It was like one of those cans of those worms. That toy, I think it's a toy. Yeah, it's a toy where the worms jump out of the thing when you open up the can. Like that is really what it felt like going through that. So, um, but I know that. Oh, I wanted to say that part. But I know that there must be something with the four corners or four winds that just went through my mind. And then also, when we're talking about king, excuse me, when we're talking about king, also met. I was just thinking about this whole thing with um, uh, Islam, or the Muslim religious aspect of it, or just even just in general, um, of how I remember reading about um, or hearing about King visiting Elijah Muhammad or whatever to I think within that year or whatever when he passed away. And so again, it's just like just
feeling that sense of king. Like I really do feel a sense of these people. So I don't know exactly what that is, but I could just feel like this freak. It's just something. It's like to the core. When I talk about these people and I say that, I really do mean that. It's almost like I've been given their eye for a second. And even with his, I think that's a prophecy as well. I have a dream. I think it is more of a prophecy. And the whole thing has been going through my mind about the South. Um, so it's almost seeming like something. So we're going to go into the biblical text and talk about how, the scripture, I think in Isaiah, when it says, I'm going to tell them to um, don't hold back in the north and to go ahead and let them in the south. Because I think that this also has something to do with, you know, oh, wait a minute. Wait a minute, you know? But that also made me think, bring the children from the east, west, tell them don't hold back in the north, right? And then to let them in the south. Now, I have this feeling of this energy here. I don't know if somebody can comment down below. And I'm just being blatantly blunt and honest right now. Because again, observing, like I said, that masculine, divine community, okay? Seeing things on that kind of spiritual level, it's almost as if, like I said, with a jealous God or with a God, a vengeful God, right? Against, for me, it makes me feel like a daughter, right? And, um, you know, that aspect, I feel like, ugh, you know what I'm saying? I mean, you girls know what I'm saying, if you know what I'm saying, right? So again, the raping, like we were talking about, of the mind and body, the soul, the spirit, those things that naturally occurred within you. Someone coming in and tearing that down to bring you down. And so again, I think that that's what that other prophecy that we were talking about. I don't know if it was Black Hawk or someone else with that prophecy. And um, oh my goodness, it says something about don't give up. You got a journey. It's gonna be hard. You know what I'm saying? When he was talking to Esther, in the book The Spring, which is another prophetic supposedly book, right? And he said, but don't back down. You can't, you can't stop. You can't stop this. You've been built for this. You're gonna have to do it. And it has something to do with her scrying. It has something to do with her, also doing some of the things that were happening in that book. So I thought that was kind of, eye opening as well. Um, so yeah, we'll come right back. I'm gonna go ahead and do the scriptures, and it's really short. And then I'm gonna go ahead and we're gonna look at a news clip, okay, about this. And it's still, is it? Are we clear on what's going on? Our I told you guys, it felt like whatever that was is coming. They were talking about it over there, but then all of a sudden now these thousands and hundreds and thousands of people are coming in. And again, like I said, there's other places overseas where I feel like people could, if this is actually so, right, where people could have gone, right? Um, I'm just saying during do you see what I'm saying? Just only because of that. Only because we must think that this thing is what it is. So if that's the case, this sounds like the most ridiculous thing in the entire whole world to me. And just because I'm fair and balanced, I don't care. So my people are going to be mad at me. Other people are going to be mad at me. Politicians, entertainers, everybody's just going to be mad. Again, I have to be the bearer of the bad news. I have to be the one with the rocks and stones being thrown. And it's okay. Like I've accepted that at this point, right? How you gonna be again a goddess or a god or you know a son of or a descendant of a god and not have to go through that type of a tragic something that'll possibly be written about. The funny thing is I've been reading some material that make me think it's already been written about a long time ago. Where are we at? What is even going on right now? You know what I'm saying? So, okay, I'm really leaving now. I'll see you guys later. Take care.